So guys, hi. Um, I'm JB and welcome to the channel again. And today I'm trying a different style of video. We are going to talk about object source lighting, or OSL for short. And that's when you're going to use different light sources and objects to cast light on your minis. So for that we're going to use a Stormcast internal that I stripped down. It had I can show you a picture in a video. It had a normal style of paint job, and we are going to make it a little bit more interesting using OSL, and we're going to talk a bit of the theory behind OSL, and hopefully we're going to take this miniature that actually has an awesome pose, and we're going to make it interesting using light, making it giving it volume, giving it color. We are gonna actually use two light sources. One off, so something that's gonna cast light from outside of the base, the miniature, and it's gonna cast light onto the miniature. And one using the weapon, which I feel, looking at these fantasy miniatures, that the weapons would have some magic properties, especially with the weapons with the Eternals. That's gonna cast light from the other side, and it's gonna cast I'm looking for a blue light, like magical blue, hitting the back of the miniature because of the pose he's on. So we're gonna have light from this side, actually this way, and light from this way, hitting the shield, hopefully on this way. And I'm gonna tell you a little bit of how I look at this and how I analyze this and how I go about doing it. And that's about what I wanted to talk. So let's get into it. So as you could see, we created a really fast, really intense grayscale, and we gave a lot of volume and a lot of character to the model really fast with just white and black. Something like this is what happened. So important things to understand here is that light comes at a straight line. It doesn't curve around the objects. So you can see here, let me see if this focus, that the light hits the shield from this side, the white side. So right here, the shield will be brighter than on the dark side, and the light doesn't pass that because the shield is round. So a good thing to use an airbrush for this is that you can spray it from the direction that you want the light to hit the model, and it will automatically do that. So we have a face, a face that is lit on one side and it's not lit on the other, and that creates a lot of volume and character for the model. And then we have the light from the weapon that I want to originate on the center of the weapon. So the top of the weapon is darker than the bright sides of the weapon. And since the light that I want to create on the weapon isn't as intense, it doesn't light the whole robe and doesn't light the floor. Why did I created the base at the same time that I primed it and painted the model? That's because I want, since one of the lights is coming outside of the model, I wanted to create that with the base in mind as well, so that the effect looks more realistic, and it blends better with the character. And I really like the way that it looks right now, and this is something that you can do and go back with black and clean up and then redo again. Just use thin down paint, and you can fine tune the effect to what you want. So the next step on this is applying the colors that you want the model to be. So you're gonna paint over this highlight, this zenith technique. I'm not gonna show you all the whole painting process. What I can say is for the blues on the shoulder pads, I'm gonna use the technique I used to paint my ultramarines. So something like this, which gives it a little bit of shine. And then I'm gonna use Retributor Gold for the armor, iron, whatever. I'll come back to the video once we get started on the lights and how I approach the lights and how I give them color and how that affects the miniature. So again, I'm gonna have a flame light, so like an explosion, a fire coming from front of the miniature, and I'm gonna have the blue light coming from the weapon on the back of the miniature. So that's gonna create, in my mind at least, a really cool contrast, since these miniatures already have an awesome cast, and they have well, a fantasy setting, so that's gonna help us create. We can go wild with these, and that's the fun part of miniature painting. You can go wild with everything and create crazy looks. Just have to keep in mind some of the rules that apply to the real world, so that your brain doesn't click on overdrive and tells you that paint job sucks. So I'm gonna paint off camera, and I'll come back to you when we are ready for the lights. So see you in a bit. So hello guys, I brought the miniature to a paint point where I think it looks good. I'm happy with it, and it's ready for the OSL. So right now it looks like this. And I think it looks good. I'm happy with it. I tried to make a lot of contrast on the metallic parts like the shield and whatnot, using the zenith lighting that we did before. I knew exactly where the light would be hitting. So right now we are gonna go to the workbench, and we're gonna work on that OSL. So let's do that. So first things are first, I'm gonna use a red, and the red's gonna be the light source from the front, and I'm gonna use my fastest red, and that's gonna hit it's gonna be like the main flame color. It's gonna be what it's darkest. That means it's gonna be the furthest away from the flame. In the case of painting that, we are gonna paint the whole lit area with that, and we work from there. It's gonna be like the zenithal glow, but with red this time, and over the paint job that we did already. So let's start with this, and I'll show you how it looks. So I applied the contrast blue. It's still drying. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not really happy with the look of this. So I'm gonna wait for it to dry. And there's two things I might do. I might go back and do it again, because I do like the tonality of the blue. And it really, as you can see there, it really like contrasts with the red here. So I might wait for this to dry. I don't want it to pull too much. So, and contrasts are liquid, so it really thin down. So I don't want it to dry to pull too much. So I might just wait for it to dry, and then come back again with a little bit more of this aerodramatic blue, and that's what I think I'll do. I'll wait for it to dry. Might go hit it with the hair dryer. It also helps to dry it like that. It's like sheeting a little bit, and I might hit it again with the same color, and just to make it pop a little bit more. Right now it doesn't pop too much. I think it actually pops more on the camera than it does on the model itself. So yeah, I'm gonna wait for this to dry, and I'm gonna come back with the same color again, I think. Or I might just hit it a little bit with the Macabre blue or something like that. I don't know. Just, yeah, I'm gonna think about it, and I'll be back when I decide. See you in a bit. So guys, waited for the paint to dry, and I have decided that I do not enjoy the blue. I don't like how it looks on the miniature, so I'm gonna paint it with a different type of blue. I am gonna use, that's my cat, I'm sorry. I'm gonna use Macabre blue, so let's do it. So this is more of what I wanted. It's still drying, but you can see it better. We have a greater contrast on the weapon lighting. And I went a little bit overboard with the weapon lighting, but that's because I want to create a... If you look at the miniature like this, you're gonna see a lot of contrast between the blue part and the red part. So this isn't the OSL finished. We need to work on this a little bit more, but you already can see how it's gonna look. So right now I think I might work a little bit on the fire part and let the blue part dry up more. So yeah, let's gonna do it. Yeah, that's it. Let's gonna do it. Now you can see a cool gradient from warmer to colder, from the yellow all the way over here to the red on top. So this is the type of effect we want to do, but it's kind of messy still because we don't have that much contrast, and the contrast we're gonna add using the brushes and not the airbrush, because I don't think if you do the whole effect with the airbrush it's gonna work. You need to have like a little bit of edge highlighting here and there just to pop those colors and pop the effect. But so I'm happy with the flame effect. You can see a cool contrast as you turn the miniature around. And I like that the transition here with the cloth. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work on the staff itself, and so I am gonna add a brighter blue. Right now almost all of the work we're gonna do on the staff is in the center region of the staff, so around here. And that's because that's where I want the focal point to be of the light. Like it's emanating magic from there, and we're gonna have a lot of work to do on this weapon and on the reflections on the cloth, just to sell that effect. So we're gonna work on the weapon now, and the next step I want to do on the weapon is actually add a brighter blue, and for that I don't have any color that I think it's gonna work directly. Maybe this one? No. So I'm gonna use a little bit of Adolpher Guard Blue, this one, and ceramite white, and I'm gonna mix them up on the airbrush, and I'm gonna hit that center spot right about here. I'm gonna hit it from this side and from the other side, and then I am gonna use pure ceramite white and just make a bright spot here and there on where I want the light's focal point to be. And I like that you can still see a little bit of gold here and there on the staff and on the handle of the red on the handle. But then again, we can always come back and repaint a little bit of this and that just to make it look as we want to. But right now I'm quite happy with what we've got. So let's go for the brighter blue. So we need a little bit more blue on this. Holy, that's out of focus. Focus, please, camera. Camera, there we go. So we need a lot more blue on that. My mix wasn't right, and but I still went with it because it's okay. Just add blue and paint around the white, and if we need to come back and paint the white again, we will, and it's okay. That's the beauty of this. You just keep on rolling and keep on making it, and eventually you'll get to where you want to. That's how it goes. Just adding. I usually have like a mental plan of what I'm gonna do, but it never ends up like what I want to go for, and I just roll with the punches and keep going. So now it looks a lot better. Again, it still looks like a little bit of a mess, but we will work around it. So I have a lot more brightness on the staff, the weapon, and I put a little dab of it around this area, just to, it's not that it's more realistic, but it just, I think it looks good. It brings a lot of more color to the glow on the cape, cloak, whatever. And I did do a little bit of it on the glove as well. Sorry. So I am gonna hit it with just pure white here and here, just to pop it. And I'll do that and I'll show it to you. Wish my camera focused more. There we go. So we have fire in the front and blue in the back. Magical blue. We have a bright weapon and loads of contrast on the miniature. It still looks like a bit of a mess, but again, we are gonna bring out the wet palette, the colors that we want, and we're gonna fix this up and we're gonna make it awesome. And I already believe it's awesome. So right now the weapon just looks like a blob, white and blue blob, and we're gonna give it a little bit more detail and more fine tuning. I wish it could focus on the weapon. I think this is better. So we are gonna give it detail. And right now I think it's gonna work. I think it's gonna look really good. I really like the flame on that, like, and then you turn it and you have that gold appearing, and then a little bit of blue hue, and yeah, I think it's gonna look good. So let's bring out the wet palette, the colors on the wet palette, put them down, and start painting. So guys, I did some things off camera. I started and I think I finished the highlights on the cloak. On the flame part, you can see the yellows, the stronger yellows and reds on the edges right about here.
and right about here, especially on the metallic parts, like this corner, this little corner on the shields, and this edge on the shield. Also on the feet here, you can see it better actually in this angle, like so. You can see the transition. It bends, the light kind of bleeds a little bit over here. It's out of focus, there we go. And it's out of focus again. Let me put it like so. So it bleeds a little bit over here. I'm gonna also show you something I did off camera. And I toned down the effect on the upper part of the cloak. It was a little bit too red in my opinion. I just kind of pushed it a little bit in the face with the yellows and the reds. But I don't think I'm gonna touch this part anymore. You have a little bit of red there and there. I might come back with the white and just give it a little poke here and there, just to bring out the metal. But I did this because I showed a photograph of the miniature to a friend of mine. He's also painting Stormcast Eternals, and I was showing it mine, and he said, "Oh, what's up with the OSL on the upper part of the miniature? It's a little bit too strong. It doesn't quite fit in." So I did that. I toned it down. I think it actually looks a lot better now. So now here on the back parts, I kind of looked at the miniature and I understood that the hand would be blocking the light here, so I'm gonna work on that. Just gonna bring up the light a little bit further here. But I was looking and something wasn't feeling right, and I thought, and I started looking a little bit more into it, and I was like, oh, I see. And this, for me, it looks a lot better with that there. And I repainted the belts. So what I'm gonna do now is actually I'm gonna work on the blue part, and mainly, especially here on the on the weapon. The weapon is way too bright. So first things first, I'm gonna go ahead and do the whites on where I want the actual light to come from. So I am gonna start to lay out my paints on the wet palette here, and that's gonna help me start to blend them. So I'll see you in a bit when I start painting. Bye. So I'm gonna keep doing this off camera because this is literally smaller details, and I want to get these right to get the effect so I can show you. But I'll show you I'll come back when I'm doing the bigger part of the weapon and the cloak, okay? So I'll see you in a bit.